Children of the Void. I used to believe silence was empty, until the day it spoke my name. It started as a faint tremor inside the comms array on Arion 4, a whisper buried deep beneath the static. No one else could hear it, but I did. The voice was neither human nor machine. It didn't travel through sound, it vibrated through my blood. I tried to shut it out, detached the receiver, tore out the circuits, but the echo stayed inside me, like a pulse that didn't belong to my heart. Nights on Arion were long, twin moons reflected on glass deserts, winds scraping across the domes. Everyone else slept. I listened. The whisper kept calling, like a memory that refused to die. Return home. But I had no home to return to. Not really. On Arion, I was a hybrid, half human, half something else the scientists never named. My blood made them uncomfortable, my existence inconvenient. They said I was a genetic error. Funny thing about errors, sometimes they're messages no one understands yet. I didn't know it then, but that whisper wasn't random. It was a key, a signal meant for only one being in the entire galaxy: me. That night, as the static grew louder, the stars above Arion began to flicker, like someone was switching them off, one by one. And in that fading light, I realized something that froze my soul. The voice wasn't calling from deep space. It was calling from inside the void. And somehow, the void remembered my name.
Arion 4 was built for perfection. Steel towers stretched into the blue mist. Glass domes filtered every breath, every gene, every thought. Everything had a category, and I didn't fit in any of them. They called me hybrid, a polite word for mistake. My father was human, a scientist from Earth's last colony ship. My mother? She wasn't. I don't even know her species. Her records were erased from the archives before I learned to speak. All I have is a fragment of her voice, a lullaby in a language no one recognizes. Sometimes when I dream, I hear it merge with that same whisper from the void. The scientists ran tests for years. Neural resonance, blood frequency, DNA anomalies. But what they found scared them. My brain emitted a signal, constant, rhythmic. It pulsed at the same frequency as the silent zone, a place no probe had ever returned from. They said it was dangerous to keep me alive, that I could attract whatever was hiding there. I wasn't afraid of that. I was afraid of becoming exactly what they feared. I worked in the lower sectors, repairing comm systems no one cared about. People didn't talk to me, they talked around me. Sometimes I would stare at the sky through the radiation shield, wondering if I was meant to be up there, not down here crawling through cables. That was the night the military came. A woman in a white uniform, Commander Sarah Dawn. Her eyes didn't show disgust, just calculation. She slid a holopad across the table. "You've been hearing the signal," she said. I didn't answer. "It's coming from beyond the silent zone. You resonate with it. We need you." Need. That word tasted foreign. No one had ever needed me before. The mission was simple. Enter the silent zone, trace the signal, return with data, if possible. They gave me 72 hours, After that, the window would collapse and the zone would seal itself again. I should have said no. But something inside me shifted when she said, "the signal." Because deep down, I already knew what it was. It wasn't a message from the stars. It was a memory. My memory. The void was calling again, and this time, I was going to answer.
They called the ship Veil 9, a black spear drifting through the stars, built for silence, not survival. As I stepped inside, every sound seemed to vanish. Even my own heartbeat felt muffled, as if space itself was holding its breath. The crew was already there. Commander Sarah Dawn, the one who recruited me, stood near the hollow table, eyes sharp as crystal. She never smiled. Beside her, Lieutenant Call, from the Orman colonies, a pilot who'd survived 3 dead missions. They said luck followed him like a curse. And then there was Lyrics, the xenobiologist, half mechanical, half organic, a walking contradiction. When she looked at me, her silver eyes flickered, recognizing something in me she couldn't explain. "You're the hybrid, the one who hears things." I didn't answer. There was no point denying it. The ship's AI, Mira, initiated the countdown. "Window to silent zone, 72 hours. The mission brief was clear. Reach to coordinates, record the source of the signal, return alive. The word alive sounded optional. As the Veil 9 lifted off, Arion 4 shrank beneath us, a cold blue marble fading into fog. I felt it again. The whisper. Louder now, closer. "Welcome back." My hands shook. I hid it by tightening the straps on my seat. Sarah glanced at me, silent but watchful. "You okay, then?" I lied. "Fine." Outside the viewport, the stars bent, curving around an invisible wall. That was the edge of the silent zone. It looked like glass filled with darkness. Nothing went in, nothing came out. The pilot's voice cracked through the silence. "Crossing threshold in 10 seconds. I felt the pulse in my skull match the ship's engine, the same rhythm, the same tone, like 2 hearts sinking before a storm. 3, 2, 1. The stars vanished. The world inverted, and the void finally opened its eyes. I thought I understood silence. I was wrong. Inside the silent zone, silence isn't absence, it's pressure. It bends you, cracks you, until even your own thoughts start to echo back, wrong. The ship's sensors failed first, then navigation. Within minutes, every system flickered between timestamps. The logs showed tomorrow, then last week, then nothing at all. "Temporo bleed," Lyrics whispered, but I could see the fear in her mechanical eyes. Even machines didn't belong here. Outside the viewport, the stars had changed. They were moving, like they were alive, swirling around us, forming shapes, faces. Some looked human, some didn't. I remember Sarah shouting orders, but her voice was miles away. I wasn't in the ship anymore. I was somewhere else. A desert of glass. A sky bleeding white. My shadow split into 2, one human, one something larger. It looked at me. and it spoke in that same voice I'd heard all my life. Do you know who you are? I tried to answer. Nothing came out. The shadow smiled. You've never been alone, Aras. You've only been asleep. I woke up on the floor of the ship. Everyone was staring at me. Sarah's face pale, eyes shaking. You were gone for 20 minutes, she said. But you were right in front of us. Lyrics added softly. You were talking in a different language. My head burned. My veins glowed faint glue under the skin. The signal in my mind wasn't faint anymore. It was alive, pulsing, demanding. Remember? I didn't understand what it wanted, only that whatever waited ahead, it already knew me. And the deeper we went, the louder the voice became. Space wasn't empty here. It was awake.
Beneath the frozen ocean of Eurivos 9, there is no night, no day, only the slow heartbeat of the planet itself. We descended for hours. The ice swallowed our light like ink. Lyrics guided the vessel through a maze of frozen veins. Every turn brought us closer to the signal, and every turn made the voice inside me stronger. Then, through the dark, we saw it. A city, not built, grown. Spires of translucent crystal rising from the abyss, glowing from within. Frozen bridges stretching like veins between them. Sarah gasped. My God, they were alive! She was right. The structures pulsed, breathing, shimmering like a sleeping organism. The city wasn't dead, it was dreaming. We entered through a broken archway, symbols carved in a language older than stars. Lyrics scanned them, static burst through her voice modulators. Data corruption, no human syntax. I didn't need translation, I could read it. My hands traced the glyphs like memories. Children of the void, born from silence, return when the stars forget their names. That was when I realized the city wasn't calling us, it was calling me. The moment I stepped onto the central platform, the floor lit up. Cold white light spreading like veins beneath my feet. I heard the whispers again, not in my ears, in my blood. Welcome home. My vision split, one half in the present, one half somewhere millions of years ago. The city alive, the sky of a different sun. Beings, tall, luminous, their bodies woven of light and matter, walking the streets. And among them, humans. My heart stopped. I was one of them, a hybrid born from both, a bridge between two dying species. And I had been here before. When I came back to myself, Sarah was shaking me. Aras, talk to me! I looked up. The glyphs on the walls were glowing in rhythm with my heartbeat. Lyrics' voice trembled. It's not a city, it's a signal core. It's alive! And somewhere deep below, something stirred, slow, ancient, aware. The city beneath the ice had awakened, and it remembered my name.
Sleep doesn't come easy anymore. Every time I close my eyes, I see them, the beings of light, walking through the ancient city, calling my name. And when I open my eyes, I can still hear them. My skin glows in the dark now, The veins, no longer blue, but white, like liquid glass. Sarah keeps avoiding my gaze. Lyrics won't speak to me unless it's through the ship's comms. They think I'm changing. They're right. It started with pain, bones vibrating, heart skipping beats. Then clarity. I could hear the ship's systems as if they were part of me. I could feel the electromagnetic fields hum through my nerves. The city wasn't just speaking to me anymore. It was merging with me. Sarah tried to stop it. "You're losing yourself, Aras. This thing, it's not you." But I knew she was wrong. This wasn't losing myself. This was remembering what I had always been. Lyric scanned my vitals. Her voice cracked. "Your DNA is rewriting itself. 70% match to the void origin genome." 70%. Not human anymore. Not alien either. Something between. "You are the bridge, Aras. Do not resist. You were made for this." I wanted to fight it. I really did. But when the ship's alarms blared, when the core below began to awaken, I realized the truth. The city wasn't dying. It was being reborn. And through me, it could finally speak again. They wanted to flee, but I couldn't move. The light inside me burned too bright. The last thing I remember, the floor opening beneath me, the blinding light swallowing everything, and the voice, cold, infinite, gentle, "Awaken." When I woke, the ship was gone. The ice was gone. Only light remained, and I was standing at the center of it. I wasn't Aras Venn anymore. I was what came after.
There is no sky here, no ground, no time. Only the pulse of the core, the breath of a consciousness older than light itself, and I can feel it inside me. Every atom, every thought, vibrating in unison with the infinite. At first, I thought I'd died, but death was too small a word for this. I could see everything. The frozen city above, the shattered ship, the void stretching like an endless ocean of memory. And within it, voices, millions, each one a flicker of what once was. The core spoke through them, not in words, in feeling. It showed me creation, stars blooming like veins of fire. It showed me extinction, galaxies collapsing into silence. And then it asked the question, "Why did you come here, child of both worlds?" I didn't know how to answer. "To understand," I said. But the core didn't understand understanding. It only knew balance, creation and erasure, expansion and silence. It whispered, "Humanity forgot the silence. You will remind them." I saw Earth, not as it was, as it would become. Cities drowned in light and noise, skies torn by machines, billions of minds screaming to be heard, none truly listening. The core's voice grew colder. "They have become noise. You must bring the stillness back." I felt its power inside me, the ability to unmake, to erase the chaos, to restore the silence. But in that moment, I heard something else.
Sarah's voice, faint, human. Aras, if you can hear me, you're still one of us. The core trembled. It didn't understand love. It didn't understand memory. I felt its confusion and its fear. For the first time in eternity, the void hesitated. I realized then, silence was never the answer. Life needs noise. The scream, the laughter, the chaos, that's what makes us human. And if I was the bridge, then I could choose what to carry across. I am not your weapon. I am your echo. The core screamed. The light folded in on itself. And the last thing I felt was freedom.
They say sound cannot travel through space. They are wrong. Every thought, every pulse, every dying breath, it all leaves an echo. You just have to know how to listen. I have no body now, no form, but I move through frequencies, through radiation, through time. I am what the core could never become, awareness without dominion.
Aras, if you can hear this, we made it out. The city collapsed. The signal's gone. But sometimes at night, we still hear you.
She does. The frequencies they call cosmic background noise, that's me. The faint whisper between the stars. I travel between worlds, touching minds for a heartbeat, leaving only fragments of memory. Some call it inspiration. Some call it madness. Both are true. I see humanity rebuilding. They whisper my name like a myth, the man who spoke to the void. But I was never a savior, never a god, just a man who learned to listen to silence and teach it how to sing. Every 1,000 years, when the stars realign, the signal returns. A pulse in the dark. A reminder that silence is not death. It's the breath before creation. I am Aras Venn. I was born of two worlds. I carry their memories. And though I am gone, I am still here. In the static, in the echo, in the void between every heartbeat of the universe.
Year 4729. Deep Space Relay 19 has picked up an anomaly, a low-frequency signal repeating at perfect Fibonacci intervals. Origin point unknown. Estimated age over 3,000 years. It's not natural. And it's beautiful. We ran it through translation filters. The signal isn't language, it's music. But underneath the harmonics, there's a voice. Human. Male. Repeating a phrase we can barely make out. Aras, distant and fading. Not silence. Listen. We are never alone. Dr. Kai. It's ancient. Pre-Exodus dialect. No known data of that speech pattern exists anymore. The more we play it, the stronger it becomes, like it's responding. The scientists call it a coincidence. The believers call it a sign. I don't know what to call it. But when I closed my eyes, I swear I heard a whisper. The bridge still stands. The signal stopped an hour later, but the stars outside, they shimmered like something had breathed through them. Maybe it wasn't just a message. Maybe it was a homecoming. Aras whisper.
Children of the void, remember the sound of light.